Namaskar. Welcome to another edition of Navimas podcast. So today, as you have seen in the title, we will discuss the book Urban Naxals: The Making of Buddha in a Traffic Jam, a book by Mr. Vivek Agnihotri. So today, we're going to read the book. I have already gone through the book, so I'm going to discuss a few aspects of the book and also read a few chapters. But beforehand, I think it's appropriate that I'll share a message from the author himself, who had given this message in his X handle. So let's listen to this first.
मानते हैं मैं उनको महामूर्ख बोलता हूं और आपको बताता हूं क्यों। आज भारत में जितने लोग मुझे क्रिटिसाइज करते थे, आज वो सब लोग अर्बन नेक्सल्स की थ्योरी को मानने लगे। दोस्तों, मैं मानता हूं कि अर्बन नेक्सल्स भारत के सबसे बड़े दुश्मन हैं। अर्बन नेक्सलिज्म इज द बिगेस्ट इंटरनल सिक्योरिटी थ्रेट टू इंडिया। इनको हराना हमारा फर्ज है।
Let's play that again.
एक होते हैं मूर्ख और एक होते हैं महामूर्ख। वो लोग जो अर्बन नेक्सल्स की थ्योरी को नहीं मानते हैं, मैं उनको महामूर्ख बोलता हूं और आपको बताता हूं क्यों। आज भारत में जितने लोग मुझे क्रिटिसाइज करते थे, आज वो सब लोग अर्बन नेक्सल्स की थ्योरी को मानने लगे। दोस्तों, मैं मानता हूं कि अर्बन नेक्सल्स भारत के सबसे बड़े दुश्मन हैं। अर्बन नेक्सलिज्म इज द बिगेस्ट इंटरनल सिक्योरिटी थ्रेट टू इंडिया। इनको हराना हमारा फर्ज है।
Yes, so this is a video that was given by the author himself. And before we start our reading, as customary, we are going to share the book details where you can get the book. So let me just give the details of the book itself. So here is, you can buy the book from garudalife.in, and you will get the book in Hindi as in English. So you can also buy bulk purchase as well. You can buy 5 copies and give to people who might need to read this book. So this book is which I had bought from the Garuda himself, from their online store. So people who want to go and buy the book, the link is there also in the description as well. And also I will share the link in the chat as well for people who want to buy the book and read the book. So now, without making any delay, let's go ahead and read the book. Unfortunately, I don't have the PDF of this book. I'm going to read it from the book itself. So, but I will take a look at the chat in about 10-15 minutes to see what's happening around here. So let's go ahead. And in the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this. Yeah. So this looks good. So you can see the book. So I'm going to read the book. So I have kept the picked up the book here, so that people know what I am reading about, so that they will not get confused. Okay, you can carry the conversation in another chat, I think. So let's read the reviews of the book first. So this is a review I'm going to read from the back of the book. So this is a review given by eminent personalities. Yes. Actually, it's a Chandan Lep. So actually, it's good for your health, also mental health. So keeping Chandan in your forehead is keeps your mind cool in these very hot times. Okay, so the first review for the book. So this is a review from Anupam Kher, a well-known actor. I think you, Agnihotri, have found the purpose. You have found your song. This is a review from Shreyas Parker of Garuda Books. We, as majority, have ignored urban Naxals. This book is exactly for such people. This is a review from Rajani Chaudhary of India. This book is a must read to comprehend the modus operandi of the urban Naxals and their impact and influence on every sphere of society. This is by Rajani Chaudhary of India. One more review from youthkiawas.com. Some books tell us a fictional story, some others tell us stories inspired by true events. Some tell us about past, some tell us about present times. Some tell us about some abstract ideas. Some give us inspiration. Some give us grim picture of our times. Some tell us about one phenomena or the other. Urban Naxal gives us combination of all the above. Review by youthkiawas.com. The book is not just about making of a film, but goes for beyond the beyond the making to search for the roots of the Naxal problem and the role of urban Naxals in the nurturing of it. That is Ratan Sharda, author and columnist, a well-known author and columnist who has done great research on RSS. This book has given a new word, or rather phrase, urban Naxal, to the English language. Markand R. Pranchpe, Director, Indian Institute of Advanced Studies, Shimla. And the last review that we see from the back cover, Urban Naxals is a book that looks India and Indians in the eye, celebrates those facets of the land and the people who have made it a destination for insight, spiritual succor and celebration, as well as cries in horror and anger at the chaos, the indiscipline, the poverty, and the filth. Ramesh N. Rao, mynation.com. So now let's go and I'm going to read a few chapters, few pages, or probably we will read the other chapters as well. Okay. So do let me know. Okay, which year it is published? Let me just see. This is published in 2018. It mentions first published in 2018. The first it was published in 2018. Then it got another reprint in 2022. So 2018 is the publishing year. I'm going to read a few chapters which are important, but do let me know, do you want me to read the foreword or you want to read the chapters? So as the audience says, I'll go ahead and read it. Do you want me to read the foreword or directly go to the chapters and discuss the points which are discussed in the chapters? Because this book is very important because we also have the film Buddha stuck in a traffic jam, as you can see in the picture that I have on the sides. Chapter pado. Okay, good, fine. So let me just read out the chapters for you. Okay, so you have the book one, Buddha is born. Bloody fascist Brahmin, go back. A film is born. Being reborn, an encounter with the real India, the big factor, a 20,000 rupee marvel, Jesus is coming, a hunted owner. A hunted owners. So there are 7 chapters in the book one. I'll repeat again. Bloody fascist Brahmin, go back. A film is born. Being reborn, an encounter with real India, the big factor, 20,000 rupee marvel, Jesus is coming, 100 owners. Which one? Okay, so which one you want me to read? The first one, Bloody Fascist Brahmin, go back, because that is one of the chapters which I actually found very fascinating in terms of the communist propaganda against the Brahmin community from West Bengal, not from West Bengal, from Southern Kingdom itself, especially in Tamil Nadu and also in Kerala. Okay, let's read from the first chapter and then we will go ahead. Okay, because this is very important for the book itself. So, book one. Book one, Buddha is born. If anything, if you can get somebody interested in something and get them excited, that's great. You should be praised for having opened the debate and having asked the right questions. सेकेंड चैप्टर कौन सा है? सेकेंड चैप्टर इज a film is born. But before the film is born, I think if you read the first chapter, Bloody Fascist Brahmin Go Back, you will get the context, which is very important. Oh, Maharashtra is also there. Good. Let's start with the chapter one, and then we will take the audience reaction and go ahead do it. So this is the chapter one. Bloody Fascist Brahmin Go Back. 6th March 2016. Black. I am inside a mass of black. No earth, no sky, just black. And thousand screams. Bloody fascist Brahmin go back. Hundreds of young students. This is very important from the context that actually we have seen the incidents in Jadavpur University and also in JNU today which went viral. I think JNU or in some other campus where the Marxist educated students were chanting anti-India slogans. So on this context, this chapter one is very important. So let's read first and then we will go ahead. Hundreds of young students are baying for my blood, angry, vengeful, armed with wooden sticks and hot blood. They want me beaten up, humiliated, and killed. They are trying to break the car open to pull me out and parade me as a symbol of an upper caste oppressor and punish me for exposing their nexus. My guilt is that I am hero to show my film. I am here to show my film. One of the smallest films of the decade, a film with no money, no studios, and no backers. They do not agree with the film which has found resonance among students. They want the film banned. They want my voice killed. This is left, now where who talk about democracy and tolerance. They do not agree with the film which has found resonance among students. They want the film banned. They want my voice killed. I feel like a fetus about to ripped out from the womb. Abortion by mob. And none of them have even seen the film an hour earlier. Oh my God, we are screwed. There were cars all around us, waiting for the green light. One day, when it had rained a bit and clogged the roads, sir, this is Kolkata, a giant blocked drain. Sir, this is Kolkata, a giant blocked drain, a gutter without an outlet. Can I take you through the inner roads? So, Kolkata. My chauffeur Prabhu asked me, as long as we reach Jadavpur University, the famous Jadavpur University, by 5:30 p.m., I say, looking at my watch, it's 4:30 p.m. Before leaving the hotel an hour ago, I had looked up the Google map. On a normal day, it takes 58 minutes to reach Jadavpur University from Park Street. But this isn't just any other day. Prabhu is big built, bald man in his 50s, maybe 60s. It's difficult to guess a hardworking person's age as they jump straight from childhood to middle age. And in most of the cases, even the person himself doesn't know his correct age. I think people in India age prematurely. A man who starts worrying about feeding his family pre-puberty will naturally age faster than others. Prabhu hails from a state which he can put even West Bengal to shame, Bihar. His village is 100 miles away from Patna. He came to Calcutta to earn a living and feed his family back home. He did odd jobs like any other migrant and lived in a tiny room with 20 other Biharis. His life changed when a truck driver took him on as a cleaner. Coincidentally, on the same day, Calcutta became Kolkata. He has a better idea of India than those who have become millionaires just talking about idea of India. He decided at early age that the safest way to making money in this city of sins through honesty and okay, okay. He decided at an early age that the safest way to make money in this city of sins is through honesty and customer satisfaction. It's strange how we find more honest and righteous people as we climb down the economic strata. More low-income people have surprised me with their honesty than the money than the moneyed ones. The entrepreneur in Prabhu never liked highways. He wanted to start his own business. He started off by buying a small Xerox and PCO shop with some of his own hard earned money and some borrowed. Within a few years, he was running a chain of three Xerox PCO shops in the same lane. Next, he tried investing in a call center. Just a few days after he finalized the deal, the local retailer went on a strike against FDI in the retail sector. His shops had to stay shut for weeks. As a result, he couldn't pay his EMIs and had to sell the shops. In West Bengal, you just can't be not affected by politics. The politics of the poor, as Prabhu described it. This, perhaps, is the only place in the world where people hate development. He tells me, ये भद्र लोग ये भद्र लोग की राजनीति कभी हिंदुस्तान को अमीर नहीं बनने देगी. For people who are listening, it's Hindi. He mentions that ये भद्र लोग की राजनीति कभी हिंदुस्तान को अमीर नहीं बनने देगी. The politics of Bhadra log will never let Indians become rich and prosperous. This is the politics of West Bengal and Kolkata. He was talking about leftist politics as intellectuals describe it, and how the politics of the elite would never let India become rich. So, after his setback, Prabhu borrowed money again and bought a second hand Innova. He drives it as a private car, illegally, as he doesn't have enough money to bribe the officials and get an all India tourist permit. Even so, everyone wants to feel confident and proud of something in life. Satisfied customers were Prabhu's confidence crutch. His Innova looked brand new, polished, and scented. He had newspapers all three languages Hindi, English, Bengali, plus the Economic Times. He had the latest issue of the India Today and Business Today. There were small distillery bottles, a tissue box, and a map of Kolkata. Management gurus define it as value addition. He constantly smiled and doubled up as my local guide, providing me with historical insights on every lane. Intermittently, he brought in he brought in local politics and how, due to due to it, he is not being able to materialize his objective of owning a fleet of taxis and get his family to Kolkata. Ola, Uber have made it tough, but he isn't willing to succumb to competitors' games. He is convinced that he has to give quality to see a smile on his customer's face. Only then can he succeed. सेठ खुश होना सेठ खुश होना चाहिए. सेठ लोग खुश होगा होगा ही तो पैसे पैसे बनेंगे ना. क्यों सेठ? He was talking beyond customer. He was talking beyond customer satisfaction. He was talking about customer delight. And the Hindi is सेठ खुश होना चाहिए. सेठ लोग खुश होंगे होंगे तो ही पैसा बनेगा. So here talking about सेठ as customer. So if the customer is not happy, then how will I make money? Customer is happy, then I'll make money. One needs one needs delighted customers to build a loyal customer core, and this base eventually gives profits. Slowly but steadily, India is full of enterprising individuals, but has failed to exploit the collective strength. We have never reorganized the value. We have never recognized the value of individual merit. Prabhu, if given equal opportunities, could be the owner of an Ola like taxi service. Ideologically, there wasn't any difference between him and a multi-billion dollar conglomerate, Tata, that recently bought a stake in Ola. Both believe in quality and customer delight. Prabhu turns the car to the left and makes another quick left. It seems he has taken it upon himself to prove that Kolkata is indeed a city of the left. We enter a narrow serpentine lane which will take us to a small crossing from where another left turn, and we will be on the main road. This lane is so narrow that Prabhu has to pull back pull back the pull back the side mirror of the car. What if another car comes from the other side? Forget car. What if a scooty comes? I asked him. No, it won't. Drivers like women are driven by a sixth sense. That's great sense of humor. The lane is surrounded by derelict, shamelessly renovated, overpopulated, encroaching buildings falling from top like an old tree, and some traces of colonial architecture still left in them. The only proof that the city was an Indian capital for 138 years during the British Raj. These tiny lanes don't have much traffic, but there are more speed breakers than buildings. People who have traveled to Kolkata would really know what the author is talking about. I was born in the city. I have lived in the city, so I know how speed breakers are numerous rather than the buildings on the road itself. Why do we love making speed breakers? Maybe it's a subliminal reflection. Maybe it's a subliminal reflection of our system's psyche that thrives on creating as many hurdles as possible on our way to success. More hurdles mean more corruption, more money for the law enforcers. We reach the crossing only to realize we may have to turn back. A municipality water pipe has broken. There are people bathing from the leaking water pipe. Some are washing clothes, some filling huge plastic cans for household work. Kids are playing with water, not realizing that as soon as they grow a mustache, they will have to play with fire. Their mothers are shouting at them. The kids shamelessly disobey their commands until they get beaten up. There are cows, pigs, dogs, cats, and rodents, all quenching their thirst from a thin stream of water. A huge, a huge bandicoot is staring at a dog. After some snoring and whooshing, the dog backs out. Size matters. Women are chatting, filling utensils, taking baths in open. One of them is singing while a young man is prompting her with lyrics. It's rare to see such condensed happiness, bonding, and rivalry in a space of 20 square feet. A rickshaw puller joins in and starts washing his rickshaw. A few women who are semi naked, covered with just a wet sheer sari, request him to wait until they are done with their chores. Nodding, he takes out his mobile phone and starts playing a game. Soon in India, more people will have access to 4G telephones than water. What if there wasn't a leakage? Where would they get water from? I ask Prabhu. They will create leakages, he replies, honking hard. Don't think it's free. He moves his hand over his bald plate, bald pate out of habit that hasn't left him even after his hair has left his head. Okay, this is interesting. Don't think it's free. He moves his hand over his bald pate out of habit that hasn't left him even after his hair left his head and continues. They pay the municipality guys to keep it open. In 70 years of independence, we haven't been able to provide water to our citizens. This is Kolkata after 70 years, where the so-called left front government, which was government by the people for the people, is not able to give water to its citizens in its capital city. In 70 years of independence, we haven't been able to provide water to our citizens. I fear soon the waterless Indians will turn into bloodthirsty savages who would kill their own kin for water, not out of any ideology or politics, not out of hatred or revenge, only out of their thirst. And this is where the Indian state has failed miserably. I wonder what is stopping Shekhar Kapoor from making his film on the subject, Pani. I wish he makes it before that watershed day. So Shekhar Kapoor is a well-known filmmaker who made a film on Fulan Devi, which won a lot of awards. Which gate? Prabhu asks. Prabhu asks. Seth, we are about to reach Jadavpur. Prabhu rings me back Prabhu rings me back to here, and now it's 5:20 p.m. I am 10 minutes late. I look at Prabhu, who gives me I told you not to worry smile. He promised, he delivered. I ring up one of the students from Think India, a cultural student organization, because they are against the leftist ideology of armed struggle. They are considered right wing. Haven't you already reached Jadavpur? He sounds hassled and starts talking to fellow students in Bengali. Any problem? I ask. No, sir. Please come to gate number 8 and please come slowly. Why is he asking me to do that? Perhaps they are not prepared. 5:30 p.m. is the official time. Maybe they were expecting me to reach by 6. How are they supposed to know that I am a time fanatic? How are they supposed to believe that a film celebrity could reach before time? Let's go. Let's go in from gate number 8. Do you know where it is? Or should we ask someone? No, sir. No point asking. I will take you there. By now I had started trusting Prabhu's judgment. Are you meeting a relative? Prabhu makes a simple query. No. He looks at me from corner of his eyes in sneakers, in sneakers, jeans, tee, and an open shirt. Hmm. I most certainly don't look like a politician. if my relatives don't, if my relative doesn't study here and I am not a politician, then what the hell I am doing here at JU? The nursery of radical politics. The story goes that when a pregnant lady crosses the JU gate, the baby in her womb starts talking politics. Prabhu makes a left turn. If you can, in this chapter that you see, the word left comes up multiple times, numerous times. So you can see how the writer is mimicking the ideology with the narration. Interesting one. Prabhu makes a left turn. I look at the gate and realize it's gate number 8. It's not gate number 8, it's gate number 3. He explains that as there is a lot of slow moving traffic on the main road, to save time, he has decided to enter through gate number 3 and take me to number 8 from inner roads of the university. The old, yellowing walls of the buildings are densely plastered with posters covered up all which are covered up all the cracks on these derelict structures. If you want to kill someone with poster phobia, JU will work as gallows for him. What brings you here? Prabhu can't control his curiosity. I am screening my film here. Do you make films? Where? Bollywood? Yes. What do you do? I write and direct. Which films have you made? I tell him I tell him the names of my films. He hasn't heard of any. The last film he watched was Munna Bhai MBBS. Despite loving the film, he doesn't agree with Sanjay Dutt lying to his father in the movie. Whatever may be the situation, a good son must not lie to his father. He shows me, okay, on this topic, let me tell you a personal story. I went to Mumbai on a personal trip, okay, just to roam around here and there. So, and I had a flight in the morning, and I didn't want to take any hotel and just go to sleep. So, what I did was I was roaming around in the Mumbai city, just observing people, buying something, eating something. Then I bumped upon an auto stand. I thought, let's get an auto and go around Mumbai on the beaches at night, because Mumbai is a 24/7 city. So you can move around in the Mumbai city for any hours you want. So I hired an auto person. He was a Bihari Brahmin from Bihar, and he was telling me the story of his life, and he was telling me that he does everything to take care of his family and his father, and he was telling about his father and his relationship, that he would never lie to his father. Whatever happens, he will tell him even if he's done a very bad thing. So the Bihari people who live in Mumbai, Kolkata, the culture they bring in is of an honesty, at least with the families. They will not betray their families or not do any bad things with the families. So this is very unique relationship that is exists in the rural heartland of India, everywhere, especially in Bihar and UP, for people who are of Brahmin descent and maybe others. Okay. Despite loving the film, he doesn't agree with Sanjay Dutt lying to his father in the movie. Whatever may be the situation, a good son must not lie to his father. She, he shows me his moral compass. For him, there is no difference between me and Raju Hirani. He, like most of the audience, believe that a film represents everyone in Bollywood. He has no idea that for the last 45 days, the only thing I have been fighting against is not being part of that Bollywood. I have suffered because my film speaks political truth that nobody wants to be told. I have been struggling that my film be seen as an alternate narrative. I am fighting a new battle every day just to show my film to interested students. I have flown the entire night from Pune to Kolkata, changing planes, waiting at airports to reach just in time to screen my film at Jadavpur University. Only after I arrived early morning in Kolkata, I was told by the students that the university had cancelled their permission last night to screen the film in the auditorium, but they have decided to screen it anyway. I have no idea where and how I will show it. Prabhu takes a turn, only to stop. The road is laid with posters. Some students are sitting on the road and making placards. The road looks like a horizontal graffiti wall. The energy and excitement remind me of my college drama competition days. The backstage was always the battleground for last minute preparation. Prabhu honks and the students pick up their posters from the road and spread them on their shoulders. Two girls are walking in the middle of the road, smoking and giggling. Prabhu honks again. What's the name of your film? Prabhu asked me. Buddha in a traffic jam. Now the girls turn now the girls turn and one of them says something to Prabhu rudely in Bengali. The other girl looks hard at me. She whispers something to the first girl, and both of them start singing. Some students leave their work and start staring at me. Some start moving. Some pick up placards. Some are yelling their lungs out. Some run towards us. Prabhu instinctively races the engine, honks hard, and maneuvers the car in the onslaught of students. What are you doing? Stop now. I yell at him. He stops the car after a few hundred meters, not because he had obeyed my order, but because it is it is a dead end with staff quarters on all sides. If students have any issue, I will talk to them. Why run away? Reverse the car, I tell him. Prabhu gives me an amused look. He glances at the rear view mirror and whispers in Bengali, which translates to, "Oh my God, we are screwed." In a flash, in the flash of a second, a car is surrounded by hundreds of students. They are banging on the car. They want me to come out. They are screaming in Bengali. It's a scene where I know for sure that if I get out, they will cut me into pieces. This is Jadavpur University for you. Hmm. Yeah, I'll take few of the comments since let me see. It's the last 2 pages. Yeah, it's a scene where I know for sure if I get out. get out, they will cut me into pieces. They start hitting the car with the rear end of the placards. Oh, one student jumps over the car, one falls on the bonnet. Then one student starts hitting the side mirror until it breaks and falls down. All of us imagine ourselves in various dreadful situations. We see ourselves being robbed, being a cancer patient, being killed. But this is one situation I could have never imagined, even in my worst nightmare. I feel like a character from Game of Thrones being hounded by savages eager to drink my blood. These are students, but not before shutting me up. It's a bright daylight, yet the car is dark from inside, as all its sources of light are covered by students' sweating bodies. It's almost indescribable. I feel numb. I am worried about Prabhu's car. If I don't get out now, they will destroy his car, his livelihood, his ambition. Don't make the mistake of getting down. Prabhu reads my mind. Life is more valuable than a car. I will have to talk to them. Let me at least hear what they want. I roll down the window a little bit to be able to talk to them. Before I can say anything, they push their hands inside. Some hands start forcing the window down. Prabhu is in dilemma. If he shuts the window, it hurts them, and if he doesn't, they will break the window. Why are you damaging poor man's car? I try to talk to them. If you care for him, come out. I will if you I will if all of you move back 5 feet. This makes them think. Suddenly, from nowhere, a girl pushes herself in and bangs her placard on the window. I have never read such big letters from such close distance. It was so close that I couldn't even read the entire sentence in one go. The girl starts shouting. What I what I gathered was written on the placard, bloody fascist Brahmin. Go back, Agnihotri. I try to maintain my calm. I am willing to talk and answer all your questions. What is it that you want? We want you go back and never ever return, the girl screams. But I am just showing my film. If you don't see it, it's fine. There is no way there is no way you can ever show it here. But why? Because there is no place for alternative narratives at JU. She takes her hand out, everyone takes out their hands. Prabhu quickly rolls up the window. The girl bends down, looks deep into my eyes, and then she spits on the glass. I am not reacting anymore. I am not dumb or nervous anymore. I am just observing. In movies, we use slow motion tricks to suspend time to emphasize the importance of that moment. I could see the I could see the spit moving towards me slowly, like in the movies. Every particle crystal clear, splitting from its mass and breaking into many drops. Each drop turning into a big bold letter. They splash on the window. All the particles scatter and make a random design on the glass. Through this abstract, hazy foreground, I can see the distorted face of the girl still screaming. There is no place for alternate narratives. I can hear it. I can hear it in surround sound. I can read it on my window, in her spit, the venom. So this is the chapter one. Chapter one of book one. Okay. Now, okay. Let me take a poll now, because actually it's good that we read by chapter one, two, three of the book one, because it will give you a chronological events which is taking place. Now this is chapter two of book one. Chapter two: A film is born. December 2010. I open the window and freeze. It's touching 5 degrees centigrade. In winters like this, I like to be hit by I like to be hit by the chilly breeze. First thing in the morning, I slowly open my eyes. I am mesmerized by what I see. Dawn is breaking. The first light of the sun has just kissed the arch dome of the Taj Mahal. It looks like the first waxing crescent of the moon, but in warm amber. I wait for the sun to envelop the entire dome in its warmth, like how Shah Jahan must have held Mumtaz Mahal in his arms on a chilly December morning. I am so dumbstruck that I forgot to take any photos on my new iPhone. Some moments get imprinted in our mind's photo album, some in the nature folder, some in family, some in travel, some in food. But some photos don't fit in any category. This is one of them. It belongs neither to the moment, monuments folder nor sunrise. At the moment, I am not a filmmaker or a teacher, nor a husband or a father. I see things I see things magic like no one else can see. This is my view, my angle, my perspective. I don't believe in God, but I do believe in godly moments. I find myself shivering only to realize that my iPhone is vibrating. Why would Ravi Agnihotri call so early in the morning when he knows pretty well that I am on Christmas holiday with my family? Hello, Ravi. Vivek sir, we have got Vivek sir, we have got the funds. Ravi informs me jubilantly. I wanted to inform you before I go to sleep. Wow, great. Who is the funder? वो सब छोड़िए. You just come to Hyderabad. Yeah, but who is the funder? I am curious, as if I am watching a murder mystery where the director has shown the murder in the very first scene and I don't want to wait for the climax. All I want to know is who is the fun, who is the murderer. I will tell you everything when you are here. Just tell me when you can come. You know I am in Agra with my family. My cousin with his daughter from America is also with us. We had made this plan in advance. There is no way I can come now. I will be back in Mumbai on 2nd January. 3rd, I can be in Hyderabad. Why delay when the investor is excited and ready? What if they change their minds? If they are going to change their minds within 10 days, then it's better not work with them. Tell them I will be there on 3rd Jan. Okay, Ravi. Okay, Ravi. Takes a long pause if waiting for me to change my mind. See you. Got to leave for Jaipur in an hour. But but how will you go? The entire highway is blocked. Why? Gujars are agitating for 5% reservation. They have blocked all highways and railway tracks to Jaipur. It's everywhere in the news. It's impossible for them to block the Golden Triangle. Christmas New Year is the peak tourist season. There is no way government can let them block the main transport arteries. India will stop. It's 2010, not 80s. Sir, put don't believe me, but please don't take the risk. I asked the reception about our pre-booked taxi. The manager tells me that the driver is a Gujjar and he won't come. How can he back out just like that? I am losing my cool. Sir, these Gujjars don't listen to reasoning. We are sorry and we advise you not to take the risk. The manager tries lots the manager tries lots of taxi services. Everyone refuses to go. I call him. He tells me it is not possible to take the highway to Jaipur. Agitators are pelting stones at cars and breaking window panes with lut. I plead with him and impress upon him how important it is for us to reach Jaipur. We can't cancel booking as we won't get any other place due to season's rush. I insist there must be some way. He tells me he tells me one can go from small village roads, but he doesn't know the he doesn't know the way and it's not safe unless you want to take a chance. Chance is just another word for risk. And all of us talk about risk, but what is risk? It is knowing that there is danger out there and still going through with it. It is It is a price pay of analysis. It is ignorance, stupidity, or instinct. The human mind feeds on information. We feel comfortable and secure when we have all the information. Lack of information is like going into dark alley. You were vulnerable to loss. It was chance versus choice. I made my choice. Driving on dusty, bumpy, part tar, part clay roads, looking at yellow mustard fields covered with thick fog, moving in the direction of the unknown, I was thinking of another risk which I was going to take on 3rd January. Ravi has found a funder, but I still don't have a story. I would die, the story I would die to make for free. Early 2010. Some time ago, a young IT professional from Bangalore had contacted me on Facebook. He ran an NGO, Green Commandos, and wanted me to become its brand ambassador. He spoke to me about environmental issues from very socialist point of view. He also asked me to help him contact some celebrities. It was obvious that he was more interested in film celebs, and I didn't introduce him to some big celebs. It was a good cause after all. After a few months, he informed me that he has got admission in the Indian School of Business, ISB Hyderabad, and he was quitting his job. ISB at that time was listed as the 12th best business school in the world. What? You too? From socialist to capitalist? I teased him. He was a capitalist at heart who also wanted social justice. Most of Indian students grow up with this dichotomy, including me. He spoke to me about his ambition, his future, and the country's future, and how he loved a movie that he had watched the night before. The movie was titled the movie was titled Yamla Pagla Diwana. It was obvious that both of us loved movies, but of different kinds. The only thing common between us was our last name, Agnihotri. His name was Ravi Agnihotri, a hardcore Punjabi from Ropar. During during one of his Sunday calls, he asked me if I was interested in mentoring a short film on the Naxal issue. These were the times when I had just came out of came out of a professional dilemma after an overstretched phase of self-denial and deep introspection. I had made up two back-to-back big multi-starrer films without much struggle. Anil Ambani's reliance under the big umbrella brand was setting up their film studio in a very big way. Reliance had signed me along with five other reputed directors, including Sham Benegal, Vidhu Vinod Chopra, Sudhir Mishra, and Madhur Bhandarkar, for multiple films, each at a vulgar price. I had arrived, but then, after spending 2 years on two scripts, the films never got made. I was out of work, out of money. More than that, I was disillusioned with the film industry. What can an unemployed filmmaker do? Luckily, I knew how to teach. It was it was in my blood. I taught at Whistling Woods, and some other media institutes. Mentally, I had resigned from Bollywood. I think all filmmakers go through this phase. Ravi sent me a mail which had a short idea for a 60-minute film on Naxalism. He wanted he wanted to make it before his upcoming graduation in 6 7 months. He then called to ask if I would like to come to ISB to deliver a lecture and discuss film projects as well. Yes, why not? I would love to teach at ISB. In fact, I have created a module called I Am Buddha. The channel name of Mr. Agnihotri is I Am Buddha. It is about creative thinking for leadership. I soft sold I soft sold Professor Vivek Agnihotri to Ravi. Okay, let me speak to the concerned people. We'll come back on this soon. He called sooner than I had expected. He gave me a formal invitation for the lecture and asked for a convenient date. This was my most high-tech lecture. I had prepared a multimedia presentation. It worked well. I felt wonderful teaching at ISB, with its world-class beautiful campus, and started wondering if this was my new career, if this was where I should be. Afterwards, sitting on sprawling lawns and sipping beer, Ravi introduced me to three other students: Kritika Idnani, Sandeep Goyal from Delhi, Kritika Idnani and Sandeep Goyal from Delhi, and Abhishek Mohanta from Chandigarh. They had formed a team to produce this short film on the Naxal issue. Who will sponsor it? I asked, like a commercial director. None. We have already created the seed fund. Each of us has contributed a few thousand and will put in more. One of them took out a file full of research on the Naxal issue. They also had story prepared, written by Navneet Skeria, Navneet Sikeria, DIG, Lucknow. He was on paid leave to do an MBA. He was on paid leave to do his MBA. It was about Mira. It was about a Mira Sanyal kind of lady MD, whose chopper develops a snag and has to land in a tribal area. Stuck with the tribals, she lives with them, understands their problems, and comes out with the business solution. The film was the film was to be called Break Even, but what the students thought was the story was in fact just a sketchy idea. It sounded more like a feasibility report full of complex jargons and data. Great presentation don't make great stories. I didn't want to dissuade them. I figured out I had nothing to lose. If I mentored this film, I would spend some good time with students at ISB. It won't be typical Bollywood. Who is your audience? I asked. We will sell it. We will sell it to the studios. I realized they had no idea about how the film business works. It was important for me to tell them the truth. Why do you want to make a 60-minute film? I said. You will spend your hard-earned money and nobody will see or even care about it. You will see a few times and then somebody even and someday even you won't remember where you had kept the DVD. But we have decided now. We have formed a production house and applied for a private limited registration. It's called Friday Night Productions. Even if the money is wasted, we will assume it as part of our CSR, corporate social responsibility. Ravi was determined. You guys are the future CEOs of the world. Why don't you think big? I challenged them. Big? How? Sandeep asked. He was the wisest among them with a sharp business sense. Make it for the larger audience. Make a full length feature film. It will be seen even after 100 years. But we don't have that kind of money. Maximum we can contribute is couple of lakhs. Don't contribute. Raise the money. Show your enterprise. This will be your real MBA. Even if nothing happens, you will have a first hand experience of raising funds and learning from it. And if nothing else, you can always make this short film. There was silence. Write to your alumni association. ISB alumni are rich and powerful people. What if somebody believes in the idea? What if you find a sponsor? I urged. This is very important life lesson that a lot of students were studying, or people who think they want to do some business and they are just waiting for something to happen, something which will nudge them. But but the reality is that you have to make some mistakes, you have to go through some hard times and take your chances. Even if there is a 1% chance of you being succeeding, you to take that 1% chance rather than wait for the 100% idea of all things putting into place at once. It never happens. It will never happen. Sandeep sensed the potential. He asked a few questions but agreed. Pritika liked Bollywood entertainers, so her choice was simple. Abhishek was convinced but waited for Ravi's reaction. Ravi was more concerned about the research he had done. Slowly, the discussion turned into a massive argument amongst them. Ravi got irritated and lost his temper. He sat in a corner sulking. More beer cans opened. But what about the script? Ravi asked me after a long, awkward pause. Why do you insist on making a film on the Naxal issue? Who who cares? Nobody cares about the Naxal issue. Who wants to see some people in jungles? The new aspirational India wants to see entertainers in a cozy sofa in a multiplex, not some preachy film on issue with no solution. But our CEO finds a business solution. Ravi jumped in. What solution? I asked. That we will think of. Ravi spoke like a typical Bollywood producer. if you couldn't think if you couldn't think one for the last 6 months, what's the what's the guarantee you will find one before the release of the film? Even if you find a solution, what will be its credibility? So many governments, agencies, corporates, economists, political scientists haven't found a solution. Why should we look like fools giving a solution just because we have to make a film? Sandeep asserted that it was not a good idea to make a social issue film. Soon everyone was convinced, but for Ravi, it also doesn't make business sense. Shooting in jungles is complex, expensive, and very time consuming. This made this made sense to Ravi. Why don't we shoot a film here at ISB? Set the story in a B school, I argued. What if there is a professor who uses his students for murder? It's simple but with lot of potential. A crime thriller coming out of B school. In my interaction with students, which I did a lot of my second trip with my co-writer Rohit Malhotra. Later in November, I realized that most of them wanted to take a job outside India with top MNCs. Nobody was interested in India unless out of family compulsion. It wasn't that they were pissed off with India, they were just not interested. These students played poker, drank beer, smoked pot, attended, attended stand up comedy shows, and dreamt of having an IT professional for a wife and driving a BMW in an American suburb. In their minds, they were not part of a suffering, conflicted, mediocre India. They wanted to be rich and successful. It's sad that we teach enterprise but not vision. This was a new, shining India, an India outside of Bharat. They were trying. They were trying to own the crime thriller idea. Everyone wanted to make a Cannes worthy idea. Cannes Film Festival, Cannes worthy idea. Filmfare Awards wasn't their scene. The dome was full of smoke and idea. In times like these, everyone turns to a story writer. Soon we had hundreds of brilliant ideas. The only problem was they didn't connect with each other. Pritika had suggested that everyone should do only what they specialize in. Ravi and Sandeep were given business and finance, whereas production and logistics were given to Pritika and Abhishek. I was supposed to crack the script while they used their networks to raise funds. Assumption was that ISB would come at a assumption was that ISB would come at a substantial discount as location. But Abhishek warned us that the administration had refused to give location to the Three Idiots unit. Ravi picked up his laptop and started making spreadsheets of revenue models. Sandeep started figuring out the connections, who would sponsor. The blueprint was getting drafted, revenue share was getting structured, logistics and production milestones were being identified. The release and promotional plans were falling into place. A list of film festivals was being downloaded. We had a movie and a perfect business plan. The only thing we didn't have were the funds and a story. Do you think we can do it? We will do it only if you say yes. They threw this they threw this vital responsibility on me. There is a famous fable about a man called Sheikh Chilli. He built castles in the air and, in his vivid imagination, established big business and became a tycoon, conquered lands and became emperor, married married a princess, had 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 great had great children, but in the end, the castle in the air vaporized, and Sheikh Chilli found people ridiculing him and laughing at him. He became the joke of the town. Are we being are we being Sheikh Chilli? I asked myself. I had I had had bad experiences in my last three films. It had taken me some time to rebuild and reinvent myself. I was ready for a new career in teaching and writing. I didn't want to fall back into some trap of making a small budget film and getting stuck with until it squeezes you out, sucks out all your emotional energy and demoralizes you until you are dead creatively. Take Chilli's dreams soared because he didn't care about the laws of nature. In his world, there was no gravity. Hence, he climbed new heights of fantasy. But this is real world, a world of gravity. Everything can come down like a pack of cards. But ambition, conviction, confidence make a lethal gravity. Today, they create such a pull that like-minded forces create an ecosystem that leads to its idea's success. Let's do it. For me, to commit without a script was the biggest risk I have taken as a filmmaker. More beer. There was camaraderie in the dorm. Nothing unites people like having a common dream. It was only later that we learned that everyone was seeing a different dream. When my when my aircraft took off from Rajiv Gandhi International Airport, Hyderabad, I had no idea that a few months later, on a Christmas vacation, lost in the wilderness due to the Gujjar agitation, struggling to find the tar roads that leads to Jaipur with no food and no water, I would find the idea that would change my life. Being reborn. This is the last chapter I will read for today, and then we will discuss few points. Being reborn, December 2010. In in Agra Jaipur highway, the Agra Jaipur highway is blocked. Gujjars are lying on railway tracks blocking Delhi Mumbai route. The bloodline of Indian Railways. There's police everywhere and they do not let us anywhere close to the railway. Distantly, I can see thousands of Gujjars agitating with all kinds of gaudy political banners. On the shoulders of the on the shoulders of the highway, food is being cooked. A lot of vendors are selling bananas, cucumbers, beedi, cigarettes, cheap water. Agitations, thar- dharnas, and strikes are good business for some. Lots of children from close by villages are amused at the sight of ugly OB vans and wondering why these reporters are in such a panic when the agitators are relaxed. Gujjar agitators have damaged some Rajasthan state roadway buses, which sit there like disowned aluminium boxes. I am sure they will remain there long after the agitation is over. After a lot of paperwork, reports will be made, months will go by, and they will rot in police stations. We are a slow country. There are multiple agencies and multiple procedures overlapping one another. Since no one since no one wants to be answerable, the buck stops nowhere. By the time the government recovers from one strike, another springs up. I fail to understand what kind of democracy allows damaging of state property and revenue losses. It reminds me of my student days in Bhopal, where at the smallest pretext we students used to stone buses and in some cases burn them. Nothing had changed except that now it has become more dramatic thanks to TV. The losses to the government will run into thousands of crores. We now know that the recent chart reservation agitation cost the state 34,000 crores as confirmed by the president of the PhD Chamber of Commerce. It would be interesting. It would be interesting to see a comparative study between the state investment in infrastructure and the to the loss to the state exchequer on account of agitations and protests. It's quantifiable if we add loss of productive time, inconvenience to citizens, loss of education time, and other intangible factors. The losses will outvalue the investments. Political parties, when in opposition, will provoke communities, engage them in identity politics to put pressure on the ruling party. Our political parties are always in election mode and therefore they make promises to potential vote bank communities without bothering to analyze their legal financial implications. This is something which is now we see with the civil politics being played around everywhere in the country, from Maharashtra to Madhya Pradesh to West Bengal to Delhi now. This force This forces the ruling party to shift focus from governance to political management. Interest groups get involved and issue overshadows everything else. To score back, the ruling party starts appeasing other communities and identity groups. It's a vicious cycle. The practice of wooing and appeasement of minority communities was started by Prime Minister Indira Gandhi. Prime Minister VP Singh's politics of Mandal converted into a competitive political mafia. Identity politics today has become India's biggest socio-political malaise. Okay, this is something very important. Okay, so now I am going to open up the stream for people and we to discuss very important topic. Read this line very carefully. The practice of wooing and appeasement of minority communities was started by Prime Minister Indira Gandhi. Prime Minister VP Singh's politics of Mandal converted it into a competitive political mafia. Identity politics today has become India's biggest socio-political malaise. So, this is very interesting, but this is a very long. I think, yeah, I think we can continue this. Can finish this third chapter. Gujars are a pastoral community. The name Gujar is derived from the term Gaucharana, meaning to graze cows. They are spread across India, Pakistan, and Afghanistan. So there are Gujars in Afghanistan, okay, across India, Pakistan, and Afghanistan. Rajasthan alone has around 70 lakh Gujars, constituting about 7 to 8% of the population, more than enough to swing an election. For a community to have an election weight, you need around 15%, but 10% is a very good number in any case. The immediate provocation for the agitation is that both the ruling Congress and the Bharatiya Janata Party promised them a 5% quota in government jobs and educational institutions, but the problem lies in implementing it. Since this agitation is near Delhi, media has covered it extensively. Otherwise, we would have never known about it. It's Christmas time and the Golden Triangle is full of tourist cars. I see some cars taking a diversion through mustard fields towards the village. Cops advise us not to take the risk and go back to Agra, but I decide to follow the cars. So many people are taking a risk. All of them can't be fools. My adventurous family agrees. My wife and children are Mumbaikars. They have no idea how ugly political agitations can get. We have been driving for hours on dusty roads going nowhere. We are passing dull. We are passing dull, dark villages, from from blocked roads, getting misdirected by locals, waiting for the fog for the local vehicles to pass in the hope that following them might lead us somewhere. We follow a milk van for an hour, only to realize later that we had driven some 30 kilometers backwards. The problem with small roads is that they have no signs. Local people remember them. If you don't know the roads, then it's your problem. Sometimes these roads will take you to smaller roads and then another smaller one and then stop at a farm. We have lost the other car with my NRI cousin and his daughter. My wife is feeling sick. The kids are hungry and thirsty, but there is no food and no water. And no mobile network. My daughter is crying. I am trying to tell them what a memorable adventure this is. I am finding different creative ways of lying to them instead of telling them that we are lost. The sun is setting. It's getting chiller and darker. The sky is painted in indigo. We have been driving for 9 hours. On a normal day, it takes us 4 hours to reach Jaipur from Agra. A part of me is struggling with the script which will take me out of this mediocrity I have been getting sucked into lately. Another part is extremely worried about the turmoil that I have invited upon my family. I try to ease the tension. Where are you from? I ask the driver, who is looking more lost than the dusty roads. Haryana Rajasthan border. He tells me with pride. Doesn't this affect your business, especially when tourists are pouring in? Yeah, but then what can a poor man like me do? This is not the first time I am seeing this. Last time the army came, there was a lot of firing. Hundreds of people died. What's the point when nothing is going to happen? What do you say that nothing will happen? Sarkar will never listen to them. Why? Because they don't deserve. He passes the judgment without blinking. What are you? I asked him to understand his mindset. I am a Jat. But Jats themselves got reservations because we are entitled. They are not. He says it with total clarity. The car bumps into something. Be careful, I scream. It's pitch dark. The car's headlights can't penetrate the thick fog enveloping us. We don't know what hit the car. We don't know where we are. It's getting bumpier. I have always been interested in political news, but never politics per se. Similarly, I know caste dynamics, but never understood caste politics. How does caste entitle someone for a state benefit? How do we quantify backwardness? Isn't empowerment in our times directly connected with money? Shouldn't it be that shouldn't it be then financial entitlement? Money buys you opportunities, not the caste. Not anymore. I don't think I had heard of so many castes, subcastes, sub subcastes until the Mandal agitation. Diversity per se is certainly a beautiful thing, but politics around diversity and desperate and unethical attempt into keeping everyone happy is an ugly game. Diversity in a competitive electoral politics is the reason why we are in constant conflict, therefore poor and stagnated. Something strikes the car's bottom. By now we are used to it. Is this the first time you have driven like this? I try to kill time. I drive all over India, but only on highways. Strikes are everywhere, wherever you look. Jahan dekho wahan chakka jam. What do you do in that case? Wait there. There, these are practical questions. I keep extra money to give. I keep extra money to give whenever we are stopped either by a cop, octroi person, taxi association, local goons, or agitators. Agitators let you go after some time. कुछ कुछ ले दे के कुछ ले दे के चुपके से on extorting money, others have a fixed rate. Agitators can demand any amount. Any amount. I have accepted it as a cost of running the taxi. Now you should have money for mobile phone and drive. Then only you can drive a taxi. But we don't give from our pocket. We recover it from the tourist. How? I am alarmed. Don't worry, not your type of customers. We cover it up from pilgrimage tourists, people who visit dhams before dying. Those people are generally easy with money. Why not my kind of tourist? Because you will go from Agra to Jaipur and go to your hotel. The pilgrim tourists travel with us for 10 to 15 days in every dham. There are many agents for everything. We have a setting with them. Hotels, restaurants, chaiwala, sadhus, pandits, everyone is part of it. That's where we really earn money as commission. People who have traveled in India individually, you will know what he's talking about. I have been to many places and we have seen things. So this is quite a reality that's been described here. Really, I had an idea about how pandas and pandits fleece poor people who come to these dhams, but I didn't know that they pay commission to taxi drivers. It's quite actually common, taxi and bus drivers. सब यूं ही चलता है साहब, यहाँ पैसे की कदर है इंसान और उसके हुनर की नहीं. कभी कभी चलिए, मजा आएगा. बहुत बहुत बड़ा जाल है ये सब. it goes on it goes on like this only. Here money is valued. It goes on like this only. Here money is valued, not man or his talent. Come with me sometime, you will enjoy. It's a big nexus out there, he tells me. Suddenly the car stops with a thud. He is the first to get down. By get down by and by everyone gets down. We can't believe what we see. Vivek, he has been driving on the field. Pallavi, my wife, says with controlled anger and frustration. Forget the bumpy road. We have driven about 200 meters in a dry field. Now the wheels are stuck. I can't even get angry at him. What's the point? My children are scared. For Mumbai kids, this kind of darkness is possible only in Harry Potter movies. My cousin's daughter had heard all kinds of horrible stories about India. Now she had her own story to tell. We see a bike. In situations like this, one only thinks of the worst. What if they are some drunk Gujars returning from protest? What if they rob us? All kinds of horrible thoughts occupy my mind. I am sure everyone is imagining some kind of trouble. The bike stops. Three men start speaking to our driver in Haryanvi. I can't fathom a word. Haryanvi doesn't sound very friendly, especially when the bike riders' faces are covered with gamcha. They get down from the bike and move towards the car. What's the matter? I ask the driver. They are coming to help. We wait for the car to come out of the field. It's extremely cold. In open fields like these, the wind bites you. The fog is getting thicker. We have mobile phones, but they don't work. We are literally disconnected from the world. I am not struggling anymore. I am I am not stressed. In fact, I am at peace enjoying this straight out of the movie scenario. One good act has the potential to change everyone's energies. I stand alone, freezing but loving. When you stand somewhere, you are closest to yourself. Slowly, the world fades out. All I see is our driver pumping the accelerator and trying to come out of the pit his car is stuck in. I imagine him taking commissions from sadhus, bribing obscene number of middlemen, driving for hours, and finally reaching his home once in a blue moon with some saved money that can pull the family through until his next visit. He will never know which part of his income belongs to him and which part to middlemen. I will, it will depend not on his hard work, not his merit, not his honesty. It will depend on how many hurdles, middlemen, and he finds in his journey. He will spend all his life calculating, scheming, manipulating just to survive in this vicious economic cycle. One day, he will die without even realizing his true worth. What has caste got to do with this? Social disparity in modern India is a function of economic disparity. We have been trying to find socio-political solutions for fundamentally economic problems. An economic problem needs an economic solution. How does one eliminate middlemen when everyone is a middleman in one way or the other? Middlemen never let talent shine, but how do they survive? Who protects them? Bigger middlemen? The driver words echo in my mind. सब यूं ही चलता है साहब, यहाँ पैसे की कदर है इंसान और उसके हुनर की नहीं. कभी चलिए मजा आएगा, बहुत बड़ा जाल है ये सब. His statement was more than skin deep. I tried to go deeper. What he is trying to say is exactly what the most of the Indians say. Irrespective of their economic strata, it is the hopeless situation. Nobody is interested in change. We celebrate mediocrity. We do not value merit or talent. Money is the real merit. It's the monstrous nexus. Three men push the car while our driver accelerates. One of them goes and gives some instructions. This time, the driver doesn't pump the accelerator and the car comes out. The driver indeed knows his car, but when they know the road, but they know the earth. This is an Indian. This is an India that runs on manuals and systems. And here's this, the other India that runs on common sense. I am sure if everything stops, these three men will survive. It might be difficult, but they will find their way out. I bet my family will give in no time. My family is systems India. These men are common sense India. And in between, there are middlemen. The middleman is the real connect between two Indias. We had looked at these men from a manuals and systems point of view. The manuals of urban life picture such men as goons, rapists, murderers. They turned out to be our saviors. My children are still scared. What if they get the car out, then run away with the car and all our belongings? And what if something like this actually happens? Nobody will know until morning. We will be lost in the fog. Our screams won't reach anywhere. We will believe and hold on to anybody who offers help. We will be at his mercy and his command. We will be slaves to his agenda. How vulnerable will we be? How hapless will we be? And suddenly of I think of the Adivasi in the jungles of Bastar, a voiceless, faceless native that no one cares about. He is surrounded by middlemen who are working for a sinister design created by people who are hiding their greed behind the mask of a certain ideology. He is miserable, suffocating in his own emptiness. He is struggling to come out of this vacuum. He holds every hand which offers he holds every hand which offers help. He is at their mercy. He is the pawn in the game played by this nexus. This is this is the jal the driver was talking about. He did not offer any logical argument. He was just telling me the way it is. The nexus siphons off all the natural resources and money that should rightfully belongs to the Adivasi. The Naxals who claim to work for the tribal's cause, the Naxals who claim to work for the tribal's cause, know that there can be no revolution. So, what's their motivation? They are the messiah of the Adivasis. This is the only narrative I had heard so far. They are fighting with the state for tribal upliftment, empowerment, and justice, fundamental rights of any Indian citizen. It is impossible then that they are also part of the nexus. Where do they get the money? Where do they get the money from? And arms? Why do all our films justify Naxals? Where is the Adivasi in our films? Why is that? Why it is that in a digital age he is not on the path of development? Why are we not told about the truth? And what is the truth? Is there another side of the truth? I want to explore it. Can I, as a filmmaker, tell the truth? There are moments when questions are raised only to reinforce answers. My answer is clear: yes. My mind is churning with questions overlapping one another for the first time. I feel I want to research a subject. I suddenly connect with the India I grew up in, and I am embarrassed of my mediocrity. Suddenly, I am not hurrying up. I have slowed down. Hurrying is a internet and mobile age syndrome. We hurry when we are not interested. We hurry when we don't care. The time, the time I am, this time I am interested and I do care. I remember telling my students at ISB that nobody cares for such stories. It's true. We don't care when something isn't important. We tend to take it for granted. But when more than 50% of India's it's true, we don't care if something is important. We tend to take it for granted. When more than 50% of India's Naxal infested, this becomes a very important issue. What is the reason for calling someone fighting with a gun in a fighting with a gun in Kashmir, a terrorist, and another man with a gun in Bastar, a revolutionary? After fighting mediocrity for a long time, I have found something which I truly want to do so to do. This is the film I want to make. A crime thriller idea was only to sustain my mediocrity. This is a real idea to discover the truth, explore Naxal politics, and try to find out how the nexus works and present an alternate narrative. The temperature has dipped sharply. Also, when you stand out in open for a long time, the chill permeates right to the bones. So we have the first bone chilling winds. My hands are numb, but I feel the fire in my belly. The headlights of the car flash in my eyes climbs as it climbs the functional wall of the farm. The villagers offer to ride ahead to the villagers offer to ride ahead of us to show us the way to the highway. Stress has strange quality. It blocks all our positive thoughts. We saw the bikers as danger. It never occurred to us that in such a dark and difficult time they were so distant from my roots. Somewhere in somewhere in the race to survive in Bollywood, I started telling stories that I believe people wanted to hear and not the ones I wanted to tell. Very pertinent statement. The ones which out to be told. I, I suddenly noticed that the land is flattening, bumps are receding, rough patches are less now. We will soon be on the highway. The car is running at 100 kilometers per hour. It's 10 p.m. There isn't much traffic. In the back seat, Pallavi and my kids are sleeping. I am fully awake. I am thinking, what if our getting stuck in the field was part of a design to help me find my voice? Does the universe really conspire? Standing alone in the middle of nowhere on a foggy, freezing night, isolated in time and space from rest of the world, I had found my song, my Buddha. This is the chapter 3 of the book 1. So we have read about pages are 42. We will try to read the rest of the pages. It's really interesting book. And now, if people have any questions, you want to discuss something, you can please go ahead and do that. It looks very interesting. And for people who are listening to this, watching this, this is the book that we are reading, Urban Naxals. It's available in Hindi and also in English. It is available at Garuda Life, Garuda Books. The link is also there in the description for people to buy the book. So I will encourage everyone who's listening to it. This is a book that people you need to read to understand what's happening in Jadavpur, what's happening in the JNU campuses, how these anti-India forces are being funded by the government itself, and what we can do about it. Cool. So now, and again, let me show you the author's message.
महामूर्ख वो लोग जो अर्बन नक्सल्स की थ्योरी को नहीं मानते हैं, मैं उनको महामूर्ख बोलता हूं और आपको बताता हूं क्यों। आज भारत में जितने लोग मुझे क्रिटिसाइज करते थे, आज वो सब लोग अर्बन नक्सल्स की थ्योरी को मानने लगे। दोस्तों, मैं मानता हूं कि अर्बन नक्सल्स भारत के सबसे बड़े दुश्मन हैं। अर्बन नक्सलिज्म इज द बिगेस्ट इंटरनल सिक्योरिटी थ्रेट टू इंडिया। इनको हराना हमारा फर्ज है।
So as we can see from the author himself, that the urban Naxals are the greatest security threat, internal security threat to India. And to defeat them, we have first to understand them. To understand them, we need to read about them, to understand their tactics. So this is the book. We're going to read the book, full book we will read in many sessions, and we will try to understand what the author is trying to say. And we also try to get few other authors to come and discuss about these specific issues. So apart from reading a book, we will also have other people, authors or other intellectuals who would, I'll request them to come and discuss about this threat, which actually looms large over our prosperity, which is being now threatened by many. So on this note, we'll say thank you to everybody who are listening to this. And if you want, go ahead and buy the book. It's a very interesting book. You will not, you will enjoy the book, reading the book, and you will enjoy the book's contents. And it's very important for national security and also for our education system itself, that how it has been done. So on this note, so thank you very much. Jai Shri Ram, Vande Mataram.